guys, Ashley here. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well on this nice, beautiful Wednesday fall morning. Just got out of therapy. Things are going well for my shoulder. Things are going well for little Velvet. He's doing much better. So today I wanted to talk about being a quitter. I know in my last video I kind of touched on that. That's talking about trust. And just looking back on my life, most people would say that I fit into the category of being a quitter. I think that's a little bit of a harsh word for anybody. So let's talk about it. So when I got into things, or would get into things, or whatever, I would try things. I would try jobs. I tried classes in college to please everybody else but me. And when you try things and it's just not working out, it's just not your thing, it's a little too hard for you, people are like, well, it's hard, just keep trying. Well, that's not necessarily the best thing. If it's not the thing for you, then it's not the thing for you. So you quit, if you want to use that word, or you walk away and move on to something else. Life is trial and error. Everybody has their own special talents and things that they can do, but that doesn't mean they can do everything. And I definitely couldn't do everything, but I would give stuff my best try. And if it just wasn't for me, it just wasn't working out for whatever reason, I walked away. Still do. But at least I went and tried in the first place. So when I went off to college for the first time, I knew in my heart what I wanted to do, but my parents wanted me to do something else. It's like, okay, I'll give it a try. No promises, but I'll try. And I tried, and I flunked out of my first year of college. And not just because the classes weren't working for me, that was a part of it. But there was some other stuff, personal stuff going on too. May hit on that in a later video. But I came home and went to work. I did different jobs, mostly in furniture. Furniture industry. I tried a lot of different jobs, and some worked out well. The longest I stayed at any job at that point was 4 years with one company, but I just wasn't happy with any of it. I wanted to go back to college. I was frustrated. So I decided I was going to try out for the military, see if I could get into one of the reserve programs. and get help paying for college and go back to college for what I wanted to study. So in the interim of doing all these different jobs and trying things out, trying to figure out where I wanted to go in my life, I took classes at the community college, and that helped me move forward. But try not to hit the school bus. Once I finally found what I thought was a fit, I went into the Naval Reserves. I wanted to be a corpsman with the Navy because I wanted to go to school to be a paramedic. And I found out that Western Carolina University had an actual 4-year program. I had taken some courses at the community college. I got my EMT certification. Went to work, well, not work, but volunteered with our local rescue squad until I got things ciphered out and decided I'm going in the Naval Reserves, and I'm going to go, when I get back, I'm going to go enroll at Western Carolina University into their 4-year paramedic program. Figured if I was going to do it, I might as well do it at the top level and get everything that I could out of it. So off I went, boot camp, A school, made it back home. My unit I served out of the Naval Reserve Center out of Asheville, North Carolina. I know that seems to be an odd place to have a Naval Reserve Center, but they did sponsor a submarine, and we worked with Naval Base out of Charleston, and my sign-up term was for 6 years. That was my obligation as a corpsman with the reserves. And I'm like, okay. So I got enrolled in college and started my classes. And things were going good. And then I got the call to go. We were in the Gulf War in the Middle East at that time, and I got my orders to go, and that fell about the time that we were going into spring break. So I went and got out of all my classes. I told them why. Went home for spring break and to get myself together, to get my stuff together, to get ready to go serve my country. And by the time the week was up, spring break was coming to an end, so did the war, or that part of our involvement in the Middle East. So then my orders were canceled. So then I had to go back and beg to get back into all my classes. So I did. kept doing my duty as a corpsman once a month, weekend duty. You do a couple of weeks during the year at one of the bases, and I was doing Charleston. And after the Gulf War came to an end and everything kind of got buttoned up, our government decided they were going to start making cutbacks with our military. So they closed out the base in Charleston, which meant I was going to have to travel to the next closest base, which was Norfolk. Also at the time, being in college, I was in a stupid relationship, and was having difficulty meeting my obligations with the Reserve Center. So I went to them and I said that I wanted to drop out, and I did. I got released on what they call an OTH, which is other than honorable. It's not dishonorable, but basically it says that I'm relinquishing my obligation. They're not going to hold me to my obligation. I will no longer be a part of the military. So I got out. Worked on my college, put myself into that. Wound up having to leave Western for a short period of time. I got sick, and so during this interim, I wound up going to the community college. I got an associate's degree in criminal justice, which is another field that I was very interested in. So I finished my first college degree, yay, and got out of that tumultuous relationship. And when I was talking about trust and losing trust in people and humanity in the world, it was while I was in that relationship. So got out of that relationship, and while I was at the community college, I met somebody else. So I started a new relationship. Like I said, finished up getting my associate's degree at the community college, re-enrolled at Western and got back into the paramedic program, and wound up graduating. Hey, I finished a full 4-year degree of college after spending about 8 years altogether working on it. I completed it. So I was no longer a quitter in my eyes, if you will. I accomplished something that made my parents proud of me, and at that point was trying to figure out where I was going to go to work. Personally, I wanted to stay and go to work in Asheville. They had a very awesome paramedic system where they actually worked with you. Yeah, I came out with a 4-year degree, but I was still a rookie, wet behind the ears, and needed more training and more guidance, and they had a program that did that. It was a step-up program. So they worked with you, and they worked you up through your levels until you were top-notch in the medic field and really knew what you were doing and felt comfortable with what you were doing. Unfortunately, or fortunately, because God puts us where He wants us. God has a plan for our lives, and didn't see that at the time, but I wound up moving here to the central part of North Carolina, to Summerfield, North Carolina, with the person that I was seeing. Because to me, I was in a serious relationship, and I wanted to pursue that relationship, as well as try to make the best life for myself and for my partner. So we moved here to Guilford County, or actually Rockingham County, and I went to work for Rockingham County. It was a part-time basis, on-call basis. So at first I was getting plenty of hours, making decent salary. But once the summer was over and all the medics had taken their vacations, my hours became little to none, so I had to find a full-time job. I went to work for a veterinary clinic. Wound up just leaving the paramedic field altogether, because it just wasn't working out. I couldn't get the hours, couldn't get a full-time position with anybody, and I got the full-time job with the vet, so I was still using my medical skills just on animals, and I really enjoyed that, but again, it wasn't where I was meant to be long term. And I've spoke to you guys before about my temper. My temper got the best of me, so I wound up quitting that job. Went to work for a temp company doing some reconstruction in one of the Lowe's stores, and then wound up getting on with Lowe's full time. Stayed there for 5 years, and then that job led into me going to work for Habitat for Humanity at the Habitat Restore, and would still be there if I hadn't have messed up my back. So now I'm on disability, and of course I'm getting joints replaced slowly, one at a time, because I'm just falling apart. But I got 15 years into that job. That's the longest I ever worked at any one job. At that point, I wasn't a quitter. I found where God wanted me to be. And then when God says we were done there, now I'm on disability. And now I'm making these videos and trying to help my friend as best as I can. Can't do a lot of physical labor, but trying to help out with what I can do at the at our farm animal rescue. We do potbelly pigs, and we've got some goats, a couple of donkeys, and this is the next chapter in my life, and we'll see where it goes from here. So, quitter is a harsh word. I know it's hard to find other words to replace that, but you have to look at a person's circumstances. You have to know that when a person's trying something, they're trying it. That doesn't mean it's going to work out. Doesn't mean it's going to last. Doesn't mean it's for them. And sometimes you have to break a lot of eggs get that omelet or that quiche or whatever you like to do with eggs. But eventually, a person will find their place. And the big thing is, for me, trusting in God and being able to let go and know that He's going to put me where He needs me, and that He's in control. And that you're not a quitter. You're just learning life's lessons, getting some experience, and eventually you'll wind up where you need to be. And when that comes to an end, you start your new chapter. So that's where we're at now. We're starting a new chapter. And right now I'm going to go get some breakfast because I haven't eaten yet and haven't had my coffee. So I'm going to get off of here. This is going on long enough, and I will talk to you guys later. Love y'all. Hope everybody has a great day. Ashley out.